2012 is when this picture is from. I remember we had like 3 cameras on us. I think like one for each of us. I think I brought like a disposable one, but then I also had this crazy Instamax camera or whatever. Still got the picture of you on the Ibanez back there, although it is not on the Ibanez anymore. I think it was a picture of you and Will and some guy I met in Nashville when I went down there the first time. There's a lot of Polaroids around me, but they've mostly been filed away now. So I hadn't kept up with Tim really well since he went to Philadelphia. I went down to see him, up to see him one time. They flew me up there to see Tim because I guess he was kind of feeling a little rough. It was about the time Alice was born, his first one. But you know, we went around. We saw how unspectacular the Liberty Bell was. Some general Tim and Tim antics. The Tims. We both hated being called that, but Wes Barnett, as soon as we made it known that we publicly hated it, I was like, dude, that's what I refer to you guys exclusively as. And he's like, I'm gonna continue. I saw him a few times the last 5 years or so. He would sometimes holler at me when he came in for Christmas or something, but a lot of times he was with the family or he was just in for the weekend. I saw him in November, or I wrote him in November. I wish I would have saw him. But I was like 6 months, made it through the 12 steps sober. And I was, as one does, I was sort of sheepish, but I was like, hey man, are you coming into town this winter for Christmas or anything? I can't really have fun when we hang out, but I can hang out. And he was just like, yeah, well, I'm in town right now, but you know, I just lost my job a few months earlier and trying to find something else. He seemed to have a lot on his plate. He told me he was trying to cut back drinking too. None of that's to be a sourpuss or anything. He was just, I don't know. I'm a little deflated. I don't think he knew about the cancer then, but I didn't get a chance to speak to him towards the end. But I remember the one I talked to with my therapist about was, he asked if we had a relationship that was productive or good or whatever, and I mean, to gloss over things kind of quickly. Yes, I'm, any good parts of me that exist are because of him, and but the relationship was one in where the skateboarding wasn't scarring us enough that we decided to start jumping down hills. Um, Sometimes together, mostly apart. While the others would, the others of us would would sit back and watch like we were ski judges or something, watching watching Tim or myself or whatever crazy bastard we could convince to jump off a hill that had an incline of at least 45 degrees, uh, and roll down. Nobody ever broke a bone, and I don't know how. That was like literally the if I needed to break a bone to to if I needed to break a bone for cash, I that's how I would do it nowadays. Um, Everything I could tell my therapist though was about us at the time just sound like we were like mutually destructive. Um, I remember when I get real drunk, man, and grab your head and put it right next to his. I think like I think like him doing something that was messing up his own hair was sort of like a martyrdom to uh, and brother man, it was the the colloquial. You saw that for everything, but yeah, it's been hard on me, man. But um, I don't know. I don't feel like it should be this hard, but uh, this is the way things are now. You know, I saw his brother at the funeral, and to um, a couple of the people at the funeral, I knew from Nashville, and namely his wife, and and I was just kind of explaining Chris to them. I was like, he's super top shelf. Like, like if you think you're grounded and you have a grasp on anything, you think you can like go about life at the right speed and tip your cap to yourself ever, like you're nothing compared to that guy. He is just like the altruistic. I don't know. He is altruism. Uh, I talked to him a minute, and this is so straight up awful. This is here's your trivet joke for the video. I was like, "Is your dad still alive?" Because I think I had heard it in my head somewhere that he had passed away, but and like counting the numbers, like he's up there, man. I thought I had heard that though. Um, Naturally, he was one of the first people that went through my head, thinking about it. And his dad's still alive, man. Still driving around a car. Still with skulls in it. The freaking legend continues, man. Also, when we got to the graveyard, I got to see his mom's plot, and as much as Tim and I hung around each other, which was quite a bit, man. I knew his mother passed away, but he wasn't super quick to bring it up or anything like that. But I was kind of like sizing up the dates on it. She passed away in like maybe 98 or something like that. So it was probably literally like months within me getting to know him, but he never spoke of the route that directly. I'd heard like I think Wes and a few other guys talk about, uh, sometimes he would bring that up when he got affected or drunk or something. Um, he never brought it up with me though. He, I don't know, man. I was the little brother of of that group, even though I was older. He, uh, he was pretty quick to always tell me that he had some sympathy for me for the father situation I went through. Also, I don't know if you've ever heard it, but I recorded an album with Tim, or I should say, Tim recorded an album with me, and like you would just lose your mind by all the gear he had. Like I can't play music anymore. My fingers are deformed. Um, but man, it was something to respect. And then he had like three iterations of Big Muff. Um, the last amp he was using, which I think he traded out, was one of those Vox 15 watt tube amps. And this is the little stuff. He had a Wurlitzer piano too, man. He was so happy when he got it. Aaron, I don't know if Aaron knows what she's sitting on there, but if I were in her shoes, I don't know what I would do with it either. Um, I would think I would think if the kids show any aptitude to it, um, maybe keep it for them. But if I don't know, that thing's better than a garage sale. She asked Corey and I if Corey was like our for lack of a better term, third wheel. um, in Nashville, Tim met him and he was a good friend, and whenever I got to meet him, we became pretty thick. He and I were groomsmen in his wedding in Vegas, and that's a tale. That's one I'll keep with me. He had an amazing collection though, man, and I brought over my drum set, did the bass and drums, and just kind of wherever he needed me. I was a total shithead at the time, and just like, well, regularly narcissistic, Um, so I was always kind of pouty, and I was like, where are these doing real songs? You know me, I'm in it for me. Um, but Tim did all the writing. I think it was something like 8 songs, maybe less, because I think one of them didn't work out. We'd get together, man. We would. I wanted to hang out. He wanted to get some work done. And he was super into recording at the time, so we were recording through analog into a digital. I don't know, something like Pro Tools, probably Pro Tools. Um, I was pretty hands off, and the fact that he was kind of so hands off and I was so hands off made me get a lot drunker all the time. So I recorded that with him, man, and all his songs, I don't want to say they were like my songs, but they carried a lot of the same message, right? Which is like, well, I'm just an old man and I've seen everything, and well, it all sucks, and waiting for waiting for death to come pick me up and drive me away on his Harley or whatever, you know. Chris Kastner, his brother, texted me a little bit before and asked me if I could pick a song from that album to maybe play at the funeral, and I never got back with him because every damn song on there was literally like, death is coming and I welcome it with open arms. I think he was going through some of his own problems at the time. But you know, man, it's like it's the kind of Southern Gothic isn't Gothic to Southern people. It's just how things are. You walk out and figure out what to complain about, you know. Um, he did good with that album though. He had one song on it that wasn't entirely like death or rotting inspired, and it was about one of those little golden cats that waves from Japan. It's called Nippon Treasure. It was a song about that cat, which I also didn't feel was funeral worthy. Remember that thing he used to do with his eyes where he'd kind of tell something was going on, or maybe there was like, I don't know, like a hot girl or something like walking through, and he'd be talking to you, and those giant eyes would like shift and like follow them, but he like made sure to like face you. and, and you know, so it like the way that worked out every single time is everyone was so blatantly aware of it because his eyes were just colossally huge. I was good looking. um, but you know, he does that to you, and then you're like, what the hell are you looking at? And then make the group obvious to everyone else there, and Hot Girl is suddenly like, oh God, did someone announce me or something like that? I miss him, man. Hope you're doing good.